Welcome back, everybody. Hope everybody's doing great. This is another episode of the Bodacious Rant with Burn and Rye. And finally, a new series has graced us with its presence. Today, we're going to be talking about Moon Knight Episode 1, the latest Marvel Disney Plus series. Just dropped today, or yesterday, since I'm going to upload this later. But let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, ring the bell, as we say, just to keep us going. Let's all keep the bodacious ranting continuing. What do you say?
Exactly. Hey, everybody.
Am I right?
He's absolutely right.
No, good. I'm just like John Goodman in Big Lebowski. Am I wrong? There, good. God, but yeah. This is just coming to my head real quick before we go on. How do you feel about Disney Plus potentially censoring like Falcon and Winter Soldier stuff? Have you heard about that?
I did see something about like that where they were like editing down some like gore a little bit, right? Or like some blood effects and stuff. I mean, I don't know. I really don't know how to feel about that, but I mean, I got to see the series. I don't think that was what made that series good for me, so it's not too much of a thing, but I hope it's like one of those trends that doesn't continue to where like full-on sequences are like taken out. That would be like a little bit more problematic, I think.
That's the one thing I'm worried about. I'm like, okay, so you started this, but where is it gonna go? Like, are we now gonna kind of take away the edge from these series? Like, not that like you said, the blood and the violence isn't what made that show good. It was the story and the characters and stuff. But it was just one of those things I was thinking of, because I was like, why? Who cares? Like, it's just a little blood. There are kids watching worse stuff.
Yeah, and I know they're testing out a few like different parental controls. Like, I know just recently, like when I logged in, like it asked me if I wanted to allow my profile to move to a TVMA rating or rated R rating. So I know because they're getting an influx of a lot of movies, specifically from like Fox, the movies that they acquired there. They have to shift the service a little bit, because as where it was before, where it was completely kid friendly, now it's a little bit less so. So I think they're playing around with a few things. Maybe they're even playing around with different versions of episodes, maybe like censored version and just the full on regular version that came out. Yet to be seen, but I think it's a little too soon to tell, but hopefully, yeah, it's one of those things that doesn't trend towards that.
For sure. Like I said, I just wanted to get your take on that, because I was just fresh in my head today, because I keep seeing it and I'm like, oh god, please don't do that with all the shows. Just do it like I don't want like Punisher violence for all the regular Marvel series shows.
Yeah.
But
and I mean, it is a good thing to bring up too, because I mean, as we'll talk about about this show is a little bit more intense. I will say that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let's get back to the main topic at hand. Sorry guys, that was something I had to rant about real quick. I want to get Burn's opinion as well, because he's Burn. He's got a lot of good stuff. But yes, so this is definitely. I feel like we said that a couple times on the shows, but this is definitely the most different and unique show yet. Just because this is playing a little more with adult themes, in my opinion, more so like on the psychological thriller, almost horror style of stuff. Just because there were a couple moments I was like, what the hell am I watching right now? Like, what's some stuff kind of made me jump a little. I was like, oh god. Kind of like when Boyle needs to talk to Gina right now. Just but what did you think of the first episode?
I thought it was great. Might be my favorite premiere episode to a Disney Plus show so far. I mean, I would have to go back and look at the other ones. I know they all started off relatively strong. I know WandaVision got off to a little bit of slower start, but that start I think came out pretty great. Loki was the other one that I think hit the ground running for the most part. But I think I have to say that this one, I hope it's not just recency bias, but there was a lot here that really worked for me with this episode. The acting, of course, Oscar Isaac absolutely has been killing the game, and he kills it here. Him and Ethan Hawke, they're both really good, at least from the start. I think what this premiere episode does better than I think the other premiere episodes is that it lays down the groundwork, I think, for the series as a whole. In the other series, we got maybe 2 or 3 episodes in, and we still had that issue of what is this show going to be about? Like we were kind of like, where's the plot here? I know in Hawkeye in particular, it was one of those things where I was like, when's the plot starting, and it didn't really feel like it did until like the last couple episodes. But that's not the problem here. I think they laid down the characters, they laid down the mystery of where you're like, okay, I see where they're trying to get to here, and that was really cool to see that. I'm finally like, we get a premiere episode where I can be like, I'm really excited for the next one, not because I'm like, I didn't get anything, like I want more to see if I want to keep watching the show, but like I said, it establishes everything from the beginning, and it's something that I'm interested in watching because of that.
Oh yeah, this episode hooked me in way more than last year's series did. Just actually by a pretty substantial margin. Like, I'm so looking forward to next week, more so than the other ones were, because the other ones I was like, okay, good, this is a good show. Let me see what else it's got. This one I'm like, I'm all in right now. Let's do this. Partially because, like I said, I've really grown to love Oscar Isaac and what he's done. He's only had a couple movies I was like, didn't care for, but not his fault acting wise. He's always on top of his game. But like I said, I just love the psychological thriller part of this show, and I'm really digging the horror aspect with it, just because. We'll do a brief synopsis and then we'll hop into spoilers, guys. Basically, the episode starts off with this guy named Stephen Grant. You know, he's an Englishman in London. He works at the Natural History Museum out there.
It's a gift shop.
You know, just works at the
gift shop.
Yeah, he just works at the gift shop, and he's struggling with sleep. So we get the idea that this guy's definitely not all there right away, especially when this cute girl that works there, like one of the tour guys, she asks him, "Oh, we're still on for steaks tomorrow?" He's like, "What? Like, we are?" She's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Oh yeah, absolutely." And she kind of plays it off like, okay, he's just kidding.
And even before that, when he wakes up shackled to his own bed, it's like, okay, that's concerning.
That's a big, like, yeah, that's definitely a bit of a red flag. Like, what's going on here, dude? Are you okay? And also he has a bunch of sand around his bed, kind of like, you know, Paranormal Activity, where they laid down baby powder and stuff to see what footsteps are going. So, very interesting. Also. Well, no, never mind. We'll get into the spoiler part in a little bit. But essentially, we find out throughout this episode that not everything is as it seems. He can't sleep. He has lapses in memory, like blackouts, a lot of them, to where he doesn't remember how he gets to a certain place or anything like that. And by the end of the episode, he discovers that he's a superhero. So, but let's get into the spoiler section, shall we, Brian?
Yeah, I'm ready to dig into it because there's so much here I want to talk about. Again, like I said, great premiere episode.
Yeah, I mean, 5. If I could give this a rating right now, it'd be 5 out of 5 for me. But I'll wait till the end of the season for that. But this is one of the strongest premieres I've seen for a show.
Yeah, at least for the Disney Plus series, at least. Yeah, I would definitely agree with that.
Yeah. So if you guys have seen this episode, stick around for our spoilers right now. If not,
go check it out.
Go check it out. Yeah, it's about 46 minutes long, so it's relatively quick. But for me personally, I was like, oh man, it's already over. Like, damn it. Like, I kind of wanted to see more. It's definitely a solid show, especially if you don't mind the little intense moments and stuff. Yeah,
it's one of those where it leaves you wanting more because you're interested in like seeing where it goes, not because you feel like there's something lacking.
Exactly. But let's get to the spoilers, shall we? How about that really interesting intro? For a second, I thought it was Mark who was sitting at the table with the
little drink,
the glass. That was weird. Like, well, not weird, but it was weird when he crushed it, stuck the shards in his sandals. I'm like, oh no, like, ow, oh, just. I definitely got a villain vibe from that. Like, that's like, I don't know. That kind of reminded me of almost Paul Bettany's character from Da Vinci Code, where he lashes himself. I forgot what you call it. Yeah. It kind of reminded me of that, so that's why I got a villain vibe right out of the gate. But I like that it was like a quiet kind of setting, and then the score was really low and kind of built towards the intro. I thought that was really cool.
It was a very interesting setup for Ethan Hawke's character, Arthur Harrow, I think his name is. But yeah, where you, like you said, we see from the very beginning that he has this weird, almost like a cult thing where, like you said, he's putting glass in his shoes and he's walking around in it, like sort of like as if he's like some sort of prophet or something. And it's a cool little sound effect too, because everywhere he goes throughout the episode, you hear the crunching of the glass in his shoe first, and it just reminds you of that. It's just it's so pain inducing, and it just shows how, I guess, dedicated he is to whatever cause he's a part of.
it just gave me the heebie-jeebies, man. I was just imagining that pain, like man, you're also not all there, man, if you're doing that. But, and then we get our intro into Steven, and it kind of took me a little bit. It was more towards the end I really felt for this guy, but the beginning was like, man, this guy's had it rough. Just like I said, how he has his foot's tied to the bed, he has sand around it, he has tape on the doors, and he's, he kind of wakes up like relieved, like, okay, like I slept all night.
Didn't
okay,
have an
I'm
episode.
good. But then on his way to work, just struggling to stay awake, like I was like, oh, I've had a couple days like that. That's rough, that sucks. And his work dynamic's interesting. I can't get the idea that if his boss actually likes him, or if she's just I think it's a bit of like she's annoyed with him because he's been late a couple times, and he's a particular guy, but it's because he doesn't sleep. He's so out there. So I was like, man, like, Steven, what? How are you the way you are, man? How do you live? Right now?
I mean, it's such a great introduction to this character, because I know you said it took a little while for the character to endear himself to you, but throughout like this opening sequence, he endeared himself to me like pretty quickly. Like you said, him like just like seeming like struggling with this, like sort of like at this point he thinks he's like sleepwalking, I believe. But like, when he gets to the museum and he's talking to the little girl and talking about like, Egyptian history and stuff, we see that like this is something that he's very knowledgeable about and something he's very passionate about. Yeah, he's stuck at that behind the counter of the gift shop, so it's kind of like, oh man, like you can relate onto that aspect of like you're so close to being able to do what you want to do, but you're kind of being held back. So it's like, oh man, I really felt for him there in the beginning.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of Rachel Weisz's character Evie from The Mummy, where she's a librarian, but she knows a lot about Egyptian mythology and stuff like that. So, like, she wanted to be an explorer like that, but she's stuck at the library, kind of like how he's stuck at the gift shop. So, yeah, I definitely got that. And then, because especially when the lady's like, if you're trying to be a tour guide, it ain't gonna happen. Like, that's a no. He's like, oh,
that's crushing.
Well, then, yeah, that's crushing, but that's not what I'm talking about right now. Like, it's just like, damn, you don't have to do him like that. Okay.
And even like the gate, the door guard is very dismissive of him, calling him Scotty or something, right? It's Steven.
Yeah. Like, dude, you're a horrible security guard because you're on your phone constantly, and learn the guy's name, man. Come on, don't be a dick about it. That part I was like, oh fuck. And then it was maybe not super late, but it was actually around when he's like having the sandwich with the living statue in the middle of the square. And I thought the guy was gonna go off on him, kind of like how his boss and stuff went off on him a little bit. But I'm glad that the living statue just kind of stayed doing his job, smiling. Yeah. And he's like, well, I really hope I like this girl. I hope it goes well because she's really pretty, and I don't want to mess that up. I have my problems sleeping, and he's worried about that. I was like, dude, I can totally relate to that. That's not it sucks feeling that way, especially when you're like dating and stuff like that, so I'm glad he gave the guy a tip and all that stuff. And when
he helped the couple take the picture, like he told them, don't forget the tip and stuff. Again, just like little character decisions that they make to make you really like this guy. He's like an everyman.
Exactly. So I thought he was like, okay, you're a genuinely good dude. That's awesome. You're not just completely pathetic. So, but then when he's going home at night, it's like he has trouble sleeping, yet he tries to keep awake because he's worried about his like sleepwalking or his episodes or something. So I thought that was a really well done scene. Just the cutting of like him doing the Rubik's Cube, reading books, and I forgot what else he did, but. And then he still fucking sleepwalks, man. Just when he wakes up in the field and his jaw was just like, I was like, oh no. Oh, that. I mean, he was able to fix it, thank God. But I was just like, ow, like. And when the guy's like waving to him at the castle, he's like, what are you doing?
And he starts shooting at him.
I was like, oh shit.
He does a nice.
Oh yeah, because
nice little serpentine run.
I was in Steven's situation. Yeah, I was in Steven's situation too. I was like, oh, hey, man, like, he was about to ask me, hey, where am I? And then they just started shooting. I'm like, oh, shit, run, Steven, run! But it was actually at that part where we hear something saying, like, oh, the idiot is in control again. It's like, what the fuck is that? And then there's the shot where he finds the scarab in his pocket, and there's something right behind him. I was like, oh, that's creepy. looks around. So that's why I'm saying I really like the horror vibe, but I also, it did kind of make me jump a little bit here and there. So how'd you feel about like those little aspects, like those little almost jump scare kind of
I mean,
things?
I think it did a really good job of, putting us into the mind of Steven, like where he feels like he's being terrorized by something and he can't really tell if it's something he's imagining, maybe because he hasn't been sleeping well or because of like, his sleepwalking. So it's like, it's one of those things where it does a good job of being like, okay, this could potentially not be real, but of course, because it's a Marvel show, we know it's all really happening to him. So just to have that sort of like erratic nature of Steven, I think it was a really good choice, especially because of this whole episode is from his point of view, specifically like that personality, Steven's point of view. I think that was a really excellent like decision that they did to sort of introduce us to a lot of these elements, and I think that added to it. Like you said, the horror aspect of when things show up, he's reacting to it as we would.
Yeah, I really like how you're talking about the point of view thing. I think they really nailed that aspect where throughout the action scene in that town that he meets Ethan Hawke and they're trying to take that scarab from him, but the voice in his head's like, no, we're not giving shit up. And he keeps like, it kind of reminded me of Spider-Man's spider sense in No Way Home, where Doctor Strange, it's almost like something's controlling him and he's like, I don't know what I'm doing. But I like when they do like a thing where he like twitches and blacks out, but he wakes up again and shit's different. Like when there's those 4 guards around him, he like has blood on his hand and they're all dead next to him. It was like, what the fuck is happening? Like that was definitely, I was like, it almost made me question, like, is this happening or is this actually in his head? But it was just like that was really well done scene, especially when he's driving. I thought it was funny. Yeah, he's trying to get out of there, and then he wakes up. He's like, "Oh my god, there's a gun!" He throws
the dude in the car is
like,
dead. It's like, dude, oh my gosh! You just see the aftermath of the events. So cool.
Yeah, and the voice was like, he just threw away the gun, like almost annoyed with it.
The idiot is in control. Like, oh my gosh! So it's like it like lets us know without actually saying it to us that during these lapses, I guess it's the Mark personality that's taking over. The mercenary, I guess, that's getting him out of these situations, and he just like comes back at the end of it. I thought that was so cool.
Yeah, where he's just back at home. He's still like, what the hell happened? And his fish has 2 tails. Tries to go to the fish store saying, hey, why does my fish have 2 tails? Like, you came in here yesterday asking for one. It's like, what are you talking about? I haven't been here yesterday. It's like, yeah, you did. And this was the part that really made me feel the horrible for him, where he thinks he has to go to dinner and he gets to the restaurant, but he calls the girl and she's like, you left me on hold for like 2 days, man. I already had dinner on Friday. It's like, it's Sunday. He's like, what? Like, I talked to you yesterday, and she just is not having it. I was like, oh man, she could have had a little compassion, but at the same time, she's probably thinking like, this guy there's something wrong with this dude.
Yeah, this guy stood me up for 2 days, Yeah,
like drop the number, like cheers. It was like, oh man, like, and even though he's a vegan, he still orders the steak. I was like, oh Mark, like Steven, don't do that to yourself, man. Just go home. But that was the part that really made me like feel horrible for him, and I was like, Steven, it's okay, man. I'm here for you, buddy.
Yeah, because I mean, it shows the toll that it's taking on his personal life. It's things that he isn't in complete control of, and not really his fault. So then he in the end has to like suffer for it, and it's very sad. That moment was a great acting moment from Oscar Isaac. Him at that table and really breaking down, and and because of the situation that happened to him. It was very heartbreaking to see, and again, really well acted by Oscar.
Yeah, I thought that was like one of the strongest moments of the episode. And then the insanity continues from there. I thought the rest of this episode was just batshit insane, where he's going through the apartment tripping out because he hears another, he knows it's his voice talking to him like, hey, stop moving, like stop freaking out, like it's fine, I'm here. And he finds the phone. The old, I thought it was funny. It's an old Razor phone.
Yeah.
Like, what? That's the burner phone. Like, come on. I don't know. It's just a good throwback. And that's when we realize, oh, Mark Spector, the original, the one character's associated with Moon Knight, he's the alternate personality right now at this point. And he's like, who's Mark? My name is Stephen Grant. Like, what the hell? And when you see the do you know what's the god's name again? That he deals with? Do you remember? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
that's
they didn't name
him
him in the show, but yeah, it's Khonshu.
Khonshu, yeah, where you see Khonshu just walking down. That shit scared that was like some Conjuring stuff right there. Just especially because like I like skulls, I like their art stuff with them, but seeing that big ass bird skull walking towards you, I was like, oh god, Stephen, run! And then the part in the trailer where the old lady comes into the elevator and she's like
she's freaked out by him. Yeah.
I lost my contact lens. Like, well, I hope you find it. And I'm visiting my friend. No, they live here. She's trying to get it. I was like, okay, lady, come on. He's not doing anything to you. Relax. But oh man, like I said, it was just rough. And then on his way to work, you see Khonshu just staring at him outside the street. Like, what a freak, dude. And then Ethan Hawke's cult is everywhere, just everywhere. At the museum, you see a guy with the freaking
tattoo.
The gator meter tattoo, whatever you call the balancing thing.
Oh, the scales. Sorry. Yeah, the scales of judgment.
Thank you. My God, I sound so ignorant. Yes, the gator scale, because it was off the goddess Amunet. Yeah. Amsit. Amunet. Thank you. Where it's like almost sounds like she's the devil in Egyptian mythology, or at least in this story, something weird. Just because how it's like, oh, if you give and you take kind of thing. So, almost like the Book of the Dead that gives life, and the Book of the Living takes it away. Perfectly balanced. As all things should be. Oh my God, that's how it ties in the end. Just. I see you, bro.
But I mean, that was such a cool idea. I know we didn't touch on it, but it'll become relevant when we talk about his little like judgment scene with Steven, but like how we saw when they were in that like square. When he was like doing the judgment to those people, how it's very unbiased and it like judges you on what you've done and potentially what you could do. I was like, that's an interesting take. Sort of like I forgot what the name of that system was in Winter Soldier that they set up, but the one that would like take out potential threats that would come in the future. I was like, this is sort of like the spiritual version of that.
You're talking about Project.
I don't remember what it was called, but it was the one with the 3 helicarriers.
Hold on. I got it in my head. It's Oh my God! It's on the tip of my tongue. I can hear the quotes in my head too. It's gonna bother me. And I'm sorry, but that's what came to my mind at least. Project. No, not Atlas. I hate you. I gotta stop. We gotta move on. But yeah, basically the same thing. Like where it's that project that Nick Fury was working on, thinking, oh, it's gonna help keep people safe. When really, Hydra used that. I feel like that's almost a similar situation where that guy, he's using these gods' powers or something, but maybe for his own benefit because he sucked the life out of that woman. So that was borderline creepy, and also like, how is everybody okay with this? What the hell's the matter with you people? But the ending was so crazy. Like I love this climax to this episode where Ethan Hawke, where he does the judgment at the end, and it's like you have chaos in you, like scared, but also like, okay, well, we can probably get this. You can tell he's very interested in him. Like he's never come across someone like him before, so he's like, the way he like lets him go, he's like, I need to observe this guy and see what his deal is, because this is interesting. Yeah, so and then the ending where he's like, oh, like I thought he was supposed to be hearing a puppy, right? I kind of had the volume low at this part a little bit, but like he hears what was he hearing, a kid or like a dog? Well, I mean, I think what he heard was that like jackal creature, like imitating the sound of a dog or something, like a small animal, but yeah, it was definitely that the jackal. Jackal, that's a jackal. It's a jackal, run. Oh, I was about to Google it, but it's Project Insight. There. That was in my thing. Okay, this is the cult version of it. But yeah, and then we see that jackal is like a giant Egyptian werewolf fucking thing. That was horrifying. Like, and he's just hiding, but he hears his other self talk like, "You gotta go. Like, don't wait around for this," or like, "I need to be in control." And when he locks himself in the bathroom, that's where you see Mark in the mirror, like, "Listen, just relax. Don't fight it. Let me take over, and we'll get out of here, okay?" And after him just like freaking out when he does it, I love where you start to see the suit almost like start wrapping almost around like Venom, him. How it like and just consumes him almost from the inside out. Like, it's like really cool. Exactly. I thought that was super sick. I just like that was very. I like that the director and the showrunner really embodied the Egyptian mythology with Moon Knight, and because in the comics it just looks like a weird simple suit, nothing too textured. But this one, I love that you see it and it's like wraps.
Yeah, like
all
mummy
around
wrappings.
to
Yeah,
make it.
so cool.
Yeah, and when the jackal breaks in, you think, "Oh shit, he's gonna get fucked up right now." Instead, the jackal is trying to get out. Like, no, I not mess with this. And you just see him like pummel that thing into the ground, like into submission.
Great Uno reverse card.
Just bam. And just bam. Freaking Moon Knight, and it ends on that. I was like, oh man, that's such a great intro again, dude. Like, just perfection.
Awesome. Yeah, like it's essentially sort of like an origin story, but not in the traditional sense. But this, in this sense, it's more Steven discovering that this has been going on this whole time, and that's like a really cool end.
Yeah.
Like, I really like that decision that they made to bring us into the show as the second personality, not the dominant personality, which presumably is Mark, but this other personality that is like trying to figure out what is going on to them.
Yeah, I'm definitely curious when Mark will really start, like when his plot line will come into play. Like, are we gonna be stuck with Steven half the season or for a couple episodes, or is Mark gonna start taking over? I don't know. I'm really curious on how they're gonna do that. But like I said, for this only has 6 episodes, I believe, for this season. So, hopefully, I mean, I don't know if it's a short run or if they just plan on doing more. But either way, I'm excited for the rest of it, and I'm kind of glad they're starting to do more of the supernatural stuff with the MCU. Kind of like in Eternals, they hint at when you hear Mahershala Ali's blade at the end of it. It's like, okay, cool. And then Morbius is supposed to tie into the MCU somehow, I think. I don't know. I kind of hope not, because that movie does not look good, but we'll find out. And now we have Moon Knight. It's like we're getting the Marvel Knights story stuff going, especially since we hear that Daredevil's coming back. It's only a matter of time before they re-announce Punisher, Jessica Jones, all those guys, if they want to. But I can't wait. No, we got another week to go, man, until the next episode.
Yeah, it's like you said. Hopefully, what we're seeing is maybe the potential of Marvel carving out the more darker corner of their universe, the more supernatural elements and stuff, which is very interesting to see. But yeah, like you, man, I'm very much waiting for next week. I can't wait to see more of this episode. These episodes. This was such a great start. The showrunner, I believe, is Jeremy Slater, who is also in charge of the Umbrella Academy on Netflix, which I've heard a lot of great things about. And the director here, Mohamed Diab, they did such a great job. And again, the decisions that they made with the perspective, all of that, and then just like the uses of like imagery with like bunch of shots of mirrors and puddles and the reflections and stuff, really did a good job of like visually symbolizing like what this character is, and how the dissociative identity disorder is a big part of this character's personality. So it does such a good job of like establishing all of that. So I'm very excited to see more of like the filmmaking aspect of this show, and of course seeing where this character goes, because it's again such a great start and so interesting that I can't wait to see what's coming next.
100% agree with you, man. Definitely hit the ground running. We'll have to see how this rest of the series plays out. We got 5 more episodes. So everybody let us know in the comments. What do you think of the episode? What do you feel about Moon Knight? Is he your new favorite character? Do you want to read more comics about him? Or do you just want to see more? Let us know. But until next time, stay bodacious, keep on ranting. We got a couple more things coming out this week, but at least the entertainment season has finally kicked in. So stay tuned for more episodes on Moon Knight, other movies coming out, guys.
Absolutely, everybody. We will see you then, or we will see you on another time.
I think they don't know what that means. Like, it sounds like we'll never come back.
We'll be back.
All right, peace out, Burn. Have a good night, everybody.